Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Balanced Narrative. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, it's that time of the year, it's Ramadan, the holy month of fasting. And during this month, many people have questions regarding fasting. So I want to firstly start off by asking you, Sheikh, who has to fast?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Yes, so good question, Abdul Rahman. Fasting is compulsory, as mentioned in the Quran, Kutiba alaykumus siyam, that fasting has been made compulsory upon you, upon the ummah of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So fasting is obligatory on every Muslim, male and female, that has reached the age of puberty. So a baligh person. Puberty for a male is when they have their first wet dream or they reach 15 years old. And puberty for a female is when she has started menstruating or reached the age of 15 years old, whatever comes first.
Yeah.
Fasting is compulsory for every Muslim male and female who has reached the age of puberty and they are of a sound mind. So insanity, someone who is insane is not required to fast. They are not mukallaf, they're not accountable for their actions. And likewise, someone who is capable physically, meaning that they do not have any illness that prevents them from fasting. And also in the case of women, they are not in a state of menstruation or nifas, postnatal bleeding. In both cases, they are not allowed to fast until their bleeding has stopped, their menstruation or nifas has stopped.
So Sheikh, who's exempted from fasting?
So someone who is suffering an illness, such an illness that would increase if a person was to fast or slow down the recovery of a person. In such a case, that person would not have to fast, but he would have to make it up afterwards. Likewise, a woman who is pregnant or a breastfeeding woman, and they both have reasonable fears that fasting will harm her baby or her own self. Yeah. So reasonable fear is known by clear signs that she tried fasting and there were some clear signs that her health, she wasn't coping. Yeah. Or a relevant past experience. She knows her body. She knows that if I was to abstain from food and drink, this would happen. From past experience, it's not just a hypothesis. Or the notification of an expert Muslim doctor or health professional. A traveler is also excused from fasting if he started his journey before the time of Fajr. However, if he started his journey or her journey after the day, a portion of the day of Ramadan, so it's already after Fajr time, and then they started their journey, they're not exempted from fasting because they've already started their fasting and then they went on a journey. In the case of a traveler, unless they're going through hardship, then it's better for them to fast. It's azima, it's rukhsa, it's a dispensation for them not to fast, but it's better for them to keep their fast.
Do injections and medications break fast?
Okay, so injections generally do not break fast. Administering other medications through other cavities, for that there are more details, and we encourage for anyone who has special cases to consult with their local scholar.
What about when we make wudu and accidentally swallow water or saliva? Does that break our fast?
According to the Hanafi school, swallowing water accidentally when gargling, in making wudu or ghusl, that water swallowed will break the fast. Yeah. Excluding the water that usually remains in the mouth. So for example, you've made your wudu and your mouth is wet. So if that water is swallowed with the saliva, that's become part of the saliva. So that doesn't break your fast. However, when gargling or washing your mouth and actual water goes in, by mistake, not intentionally, according to the Hanafi mazhab, that breaks your fast. The Hanafis, they make a difference between the khati and the nasi. What does khatib mean? The one who knows he's fasting or knows she's fasting, yet due to carelessness or by mistake, they swallowed water. So that will break the fast. In the case of the nasi, which the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ has shown us, that a person who ate or drank whilst in a state of forgetfulness, they forgot they were fasting. So for them, their fasts are still intact and are not broken. But the same thing does not apply to the one who knows they are fasting, remembers they are fasting, but due to their own mistake, they happen to swallow food or water.
If someone wakes up after Fajr and they miss suhoor and forget to make their niyyah, is their fast still valid?
Yeah, so if someone wakes up after Fajr and then makes niyyah, their fasting is still valid, and the niyyah is valid right up till just before midday, according to the Hanafi school of thought. The correct time to make niyyah is from the night, so from after Maghrib. At that time a person can make intention that they'll be fasting tomorrow, and right up till before Fajr. And that's according to the Shafi'i mazhab, that the last time of the niyyah is before Fajr. Once Fajr time kicks in, then the niyyat for fasting is not valid. However, the Hanafi mazhab is easier on this matter, and the niyyat is acceptable right up until just before midday, zawal.
What is the difference between a fast that has to be made up for and a fast that needs to be made up, as well as requiring expiation?
So the acts that require qada, the fast to be made up, as well as kaffara, to give an atonement or expiation for that, is when a person eats or drinks food which nourishes the body, or any medication that nourishes the body and benefits the body. In such a case, a person would have to make up that fast as well as give a kaffara, which is to fast 60 consecutive days. So they must make sure that when they want to give their kaffara, that there are no days of Eid. Yeah, because you can't fast on the days of Eid. Yeah, the Eid al-Fitr, one day you cannot fast, as well as the day of Eid al-Adha and the Ayyam al-Tashriq, the 3 days after. So in those days, fasting is not permissible. So therefore, a person must observe their 60 days, yeah, and not include those days when they want to start their 60 days of fasting. Eating or drinking deliberately while fasting. It's not that they forgot. They knew they were fasting, but they ate or drank. And what they ate or drank must be considered as food or nourishment or medicine. Yeah? And when we say medicine, it's not that that person is sick. If they were sick, then they had an excuse not to fast. Yeah? The third thing is sexual intercourse. Yeah, it's not that this was done in a state of forgetfulness, but it was done intentionally. That also requires an atonement, a kaffara, as well as making up for that one day plus 60 days. Yeah? 60 days is the atonement, is the kaffara.
Really?
Yes.
So
60 consecutive days.
for that one missed day?
For that one. So you have to make up that one fast, and as a punishment, you have to fast 60 days. If a person is not healthy, then they have to feed 60 poor people 2 meals a day, the equivalent of zakatul fitr, 1 meal, or one person for 60 days, 2 meals a day, which is the same.
Yeah.
Whether you give 60 different people, you give one person, but you feed him for 60 days, 2 meals a day. That's only when the person is not physically capable of fasting. So otherwise rich people say, okay, I've broken my fast with no excuse and I'll just pay extra. No. The second category is for that person who breaks their fast, yeah, and they do not require a kaffara, as mentioned. Yeah? So the person who breaks their fast and just has to make it up and does not have to give a kaffara, it's for those actions like, an example, a person forgot they were fasting and they ate. So does that break their fast? No. But then afterwards, after remembering, he continued eating. Yeah?
Yeah.
He continued eating because he thought maybe my fast is broken. And he continued eating.
Yeah.
So then that person has to just make qada. pay that one day. He doesn't have to fast 60
Okay.
days. Yeah? Because out of forgetfulness they ate, and then they thought, oh no, I've broken my fast. And likewise, that where a person by mistake, remember the Hanafi school, they differentiate between the nasi, the forgetful person, and the khati, the one who'd done something by mistake. So if they swallowed water by mistake while making wudu, so they have to make qada, pay that fast back because it was broken. However, there's no kaffara, there's no punishment of 60 days fasting. Another example is that a person by mistake broke their fast before Maghrib thinking it was Maghrib, and then came to know, oh, it wasn't Maghrib. Whether he followed a false calendar, or he followed a different day or a different month thinking it was today's fast, for example. So he came to know, oh, by mistake I already broke my fast. So the Hanafi mazhab would say, no, his fast is broken and he has to make qada. And likewise, at the time of Fajr, he continued eating his early morning sahur. He continued eating, thinking that Fajr has not yet set in. Then he came to know, no, the time of Fajr has already set in, and he was still eating. So that is a khati, the one who ate by mistake. So his fast would be invalid, and he would have to make that one up. This is in the Hanafi mazhab. The other mazhabs may have a different ruling.
For sisters cooking for their families, what is the ruling on tasting food whilst cooking? Does it break the fast if nothing is swallowed?
Yeah, so generally, as a general rule, it is makruh to taste any food or to put anything in your mouth, any food substances in your mouth is makruh, even if a person does not swallow it. It should not be done. However, for a woman who, it's mentioned, like for example, a woman has to cook food, and if her husband is of the nature that he may show his displeasure and may become angry, so in such a case that lady would be able to taste the food to make sure that it is okay to eat, but she must make sure that she does not swallow that food.
Okay.
Likewise, you could give the same ruling, I guess, for a chef. Probably would have that same exemption also. The key thing is not to swallow, because any food substance that is swallowed and can be tasted or felt in the throat, then that would break the fast. That's why it's makruh to do so. And if one does it for the reasons allowed, then they must make sure that they wash and rinse out their mouth and do not swallow any food.
Can a fasting person brush their teeth with toothpaste, or is it better to avoid it?
The same ruling, it's makruh to use toothpaste, because if they swallowed that, then it would make their fast invalid. And it is better to use a miswak. It's actually sunnah to use a miswak. In the Hanafi mazhab, for the whole day, they can use the miswak. In the Shafi'i mazhab, and up until midday. After midday, they should not use the miswak. It's makruh to do so.
Sheikh, I think that's all the questions.
Okay, Abdurrahman.
Did you have anything you want to say to the viewers?
May Allah accept our fasting and give us the strength and the tawfiq to do good deeds in Ramadan and to fast in a manner that's pleasing to Him.
Thank you so much for your time again, Sheikh. And to our viewers, thank you for watching another episode of The Balanced Narrative. If you enjoyed what you heard, please make sure to like, share and subscribe. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.